Welcome to Overanalyzing your childhood cartoon. Here's the thing, I don't really watch Spongebob that much. What I do when I'm growing up? Studying World War II, but that's not a story. I remember one episode where Mrs. Puff is getting fired. We're gonna analyze that. I'm going to commenting that Spongebob Squarepants, Mrs. Puff, you're fired, is actually a commentary for our education system. I have notes, I have my pencil, I have my laptop, and we're gonna start.
It's impossible. In all my years of teaching, only one student has failed my class.
Yes, but he's failed 1,258,056 times.
We can see that the teacher ability of becoming a good teacher is not because they are good at teaching, but the percentage whether their students is pass. This orange just said that we cannot blame students for our incompetence of teaching. So basically, I'm gonna ask you, the teacher is called teacher because their job is to teach, not to make sure the student pass. And you tell me that these people is incompetence because one student cannot pass? Being good isn't enough.
Did I pass this time, Mrs. Puff?
No, SpongeBob, you failed.
Hello, worthless students.
This is what we already do. The solution for the unteachable student is not changing the method of teaching. Instead of kind of digging what the students, like their talent, they send a military guy who's going to teach him.
First rule, no talking.
Does that mean
Second rule, no eating in my class.
This is what happened in our educational system, is that what is the correlation between what you learn in driving for not talking and not eating? What's the point? School's supposed to teach you about like adulthood important things, like how to, submit your taxes, how to do insurance. They're not supposed to teach you about physics.
But before you learn to drive, you must learn to crawl. And then you learn to walk. And then you learn to run. But before you learn to walk, you must learn to crawl.
This is what the Shaki dude tells us, is that to drive you have to learn to crawl, then to walk, then to run. But as far as I know, we learn to drive because we don't want to do all the three things that I mentioned. We don't want to crawl when we can drive. And what it has to do with driving. When driving, you go behind the wheel and you learn to control the wheel. And hopefully Jesus take the wheel.
Jesus, take the wheel, take it from my hand.
What it has to do with crawling? Why crawling is important?
Go take that boat apart. I'm impressed, son. Put it back together again.
Oh, that'll be easy.
Jumping jellyfish.
Luckily, this scene doesn't end with the Shaki dude tells me like,
I told you to build a car, not a rocket.
and here's what our education system is, that we are expected to do something, but when we excel and we do beyond what we already been expected, let's say math, there's 1,000 ways to do some kind of equation, but we only been taught one, and if we use the other, even though the answer is right, we just like, you cannot do it because it's not my way. We do not want people to excel. We have to follow the rule.
Now I know this course forward, backward, and sideways. Am I ready to get behind the wheel?
Not quite. Now do it blindfolded.
1005. Oh, pebble number 143.
I've come to talk with you again.
And to pass with this blindfolded and becoming a car, he has to memorize the pebble, 1,000 something pebble. on the road. If it's not telling what our education system is, I don't know what to say. That in order to pass, you have to memorize it.
See what I taught you, lad. Nice driving. Now parallel park up ahead. Very good.
He is
You can't
blindfolded.
drive a boat with a blindfold on. That's illegal.
That's the thing, is that you cannot drive with the blindfold on because it's illegal. But when you do the test before, you ask him to wear his blindfold.
You can't do it without a blindfold.
Drive!
I can do it without a blindfold. He drive well because he is blindfolded. Because that's what the sharky thinks you do. You have to drive blindfolded, and he do well with blindfold on, but it's, you know, it's illegal because it's unethical. It's not something that we usually do. We don't drive blindfolded. We are being taught to do physics and all the things when in the actual use we don't use it.
Sorry, SpongeBob. You failed again. Even our finest instructor could not teach you.
It's okay. Mr. Fitz gave me my teaching certificate back. And your dossier was destroyed in the explosion. So it's as if you never failed.
SpongeBob is failed again, even though with their finest instructor. Rather than changing the system of how they teach their students, what they do, you know, let's give the old teacher back. It's really shown us how our education system. For like, you know, we already advanced in technology. We maybe have hologram in the next 5 years. We already go to the moon. We already plan to colonize Mars. But after those many changes in technology, our education system is stagnated. Don't get me wrong, I really love learning. I'm pro learning. I love to learn about stuff. But when I have to learn in order to get something, and in this point in school is that you learn, you memorize in order to you to get score, in order to you to get the record that you already go to school and do well in school. That's what I don't like. It's up, but it's true. Like how much we still glorifying this education system as the best. That the teacher teaches something, and then you're going to, you know, go through some tests where you memorize things, and then you pass and you get the score. Learning is supposed to make you want more, not make you want less. Even in high school, I said I don't even know what I don't know. Spongebob already come out for many years. I think this is 2026, and it's still relevant. It's still happening until now. We are bound to really great change in our educational system, not just for the student but also for the teacher. SpongeBob will not learn to drive, or he cannot drive until something change about the way Mrs. Puff teach and the way the driving education system change. So there you have it. This is Overanalyzing Your Cartoon Childhood, and this is the episode Spongebob Squarepants. Mrs. Puff, you're fired. I hope you enjoy. Maybe I'm blabbering a little bit. Maybe I'm overanalyzing it, but this is the name of the show. We overanalyzing things. I hope you enjoy.